Don't you think your pet deserves a special treat without all those ingredients you can't pronounce? Your pet deserves the best source of ingredients. I agree. That's why Hound House Treats is established to give your pet the best all-natural handcrafted treats packed with flavor. Try our chicken, turkey, and our pink salmon jerky. These products are 100% natural and USDA certified. It's prepared without no added hormones or steroids, no growth-promoting antibiotics, no artificial ingredients, flavors, or preservatives. Grain-free. Don't cheat your dog nutrients. Treat your dog to a healthy snack at www.houndhousetreats.
You are now tuned into 2111 Radio Show, hosted by our program director, Derrick Scott.
Welcome everybody to the 2111 Radio Show. I'm your host, Derrick Scott, and I have a special story today, and a special man. I've known him not that long, but it seems like it's been forever. I'm not even gonna lie. And our relationship as men is just growing to a point I respect this man so much. So a lot of you guys know him as Kingtechtv. That's not his actual name. His real name is Jinyung King. And I'm gonna bring Jinyung King in here. We're gonna get the backstory about this incredible guy right now. Let's get him in here right now.
Salute. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
What up, brother?
Again, I should say.
Yes, exactly. Listen, you're literally the only person that's been on my show 3 times.
That's an honor. Honestly, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, listen, and I am honored to have you here, man. So first, Jinyung King.
Yes, sir.
Where are you actually originally from?
So I was born in a very small, I was born in a small city, Redlands, California, but raised in the mountains, Forest Falls, Southern California mountains, very small community, one way in, one way out. There's literally one general store, one Mexican restaurant, no gas stations, nothing else. Closed at 6 p.m. So you had to make plans prior to 6 p.m. or you're on lockdown.
Wow. So, and this is where you was born. So, the fact that it's one way out and one way in, that sounds like something on like a movie.
Oh,
you only see the stuff in movies,
right?
So, so you're actually Korean and German.
Yes. Yeah.
My mom kind of mix is
that? That is crazy,
incredible.
Yeah, that is a crazy mix. And one thing I found out recently that inspired one of my tattoos, and it was pretty shocking, to be honest. My whole life, my mom would tell me she's Mongolian and Korean. Okay. My dad's German. My mom would always tell us, we're direct descendants from Genghis Khan. So I would say, well, so is 65% of the world. If anybody needs to do their research, 65% of the population on planet Earth came from Genghis Khan. He ruled more land than anyone in history. But there's a difference. 65% of people do come from one of his 9 sons. So I did the 23andMe. They do your genetic testing. They can go back all the way to where, every part came. What timeline did you get this portion of you? 3% Chinese, 27% Korean, things like that.
Yes.
But what's strange, out of 22 million entries, there are only 4 individuals that go outside of the 9 sons and go directly to Genghis Khan. And that is me, my brother, and my mom, and then one other individual. I don't know who he is.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what inspired this tattoo. You can't see it. Anyways, I have that. That's why he's on my arm. It is, it is shocking to know that. And it's pretty crazy. It is crazy.
First of all, let's put this into perspective, because what you just said just blew my mind, because I'd never known anything like that.
Yeah.
So for you to even come up here and explain that to me, I'm sitting here like, wow.
Yeah, that's my reaction. I mean, you hear that from your parents or whatever. You're related to this. We're descendants of, and I really didn't take it into account until that, where I thought, wow, that really means something. It's not even just one of the 9 sons, meaning he conquered Earth almost,
Yes,
and
he did.
had a lot of babies. But
A lot of babies.
those all came from his 9 sons, the mass majority of Earth. But to be outside of the 9 sons that's crazy, and it does make me feel special in some way, that it is, that's unique.
Yes, it is. And you are special to all of us. Like I said,
Appreciate
at
you,
the end
man.
of the day, I'm putting this on the spot because again, I've never met anyone like you. I'm gonna tell you
Appreciate
that
that, brother.
right now. The support that you've given me during the beginning of this show, I'm not even gonna lie. I ask questions. I learn from the things that you do on your show.
Right.
So it's still certain things as far as in how I approach questions and different things. You teaching me stuff and you didn't even realize you're teaching.
No, I did
So,
not. I did
so,
not at
so,
all.
so salute to you on that. So now, as a young man, I heard you used to play the guitar on a tennis racket.
Yeah,
Tell
man,
me
it
about
is.
that.
My whole life has been, I just like to make people laugh. I like to
Mm-hmm.
entertain. I like to change someone's day for the better in whatever form that may be, through a joke, entertainment. I get up and dance. That's why I dance on my show, because I feel it. And also it's an entertainment value. People get a kick out of that. Not a lot of people are getting up, lighting themselves on fire with a filter and dancing their ass off, like not many people. So, yeah, it was my neighbor. It was actually my godmother, godfather. They elderly couple I'd go over there, knock on their door, and I'd bring a tennis racket. And for some reason, a match, like the wooden matches,
Yes.
that was my pick for some. I don't know why I chose that, but I'd go over there and I'd put on a song. And I mean, from walking out on stage, strumming the whole thing, singing, and I choreographed it. It is,
Wow.
yeah, I really love to do that. Really love to entertain.
Let me tell you something. It's crazy because I used to try to play the guitar on the curtain rods.
Yeah.
The curtain rods, and I used to take the matchstick and used to have a little sound to it. So
Right.
that's crazy. When I saw the story, I'm sitting there going, "Wait a minute! I used to do the same thing. At least you had a tennis racket,
Right. Right.
you know?
Yeah.
You actually had a tennis racket." So now we're gonna get a little deep because you had an accident, a
Oh yeah.
traumatic,
Oh yeah.
and I want you. I'm gonna give you the floor. You
Oh
understand?
yeah.
And I really want you to get into this and really let us know.
So,
The
um,
accident.
yeah, I didn't even realize the impact that this accident could have long term until I became older and seen my life's trajectory and figured out decisions I made along the way. Why did I make those decisions? Basically, I could put it like this. I have learned that the frontal lobe doesn't fully develop till you're 25. Your brain does not fully develop till you're 25. Feel free to research that. So when they say kids don't know better, the frontal lobe is your decision making. That is you weighing out long-term effects, right? That is your decision making part of your brain. Okay. So for me to make a decision as a younger kid before 25, you're going off of short-term results, not really thinking about the big picture and all the consequences that come with that decision. Okay.
Right.
So, and that doesn't happen until you're 25, but any major injuries to that area could also affect that. And I say all that because I definitely had a very major accident that did affect it. And I truthfully believe I've seen patterns in my life where I think it was somewhat affected by that. But basically what happened, I was 5 years old. We were at a family friend's house. We were going to leave, and my dad was holding me in his arms, and he walks out of the front door, and it's a screen door. And right when he goes out of the door, right next to the door on each side are these 2 cats their bowls are there, and they're eating. So the stairs go down at an angle. They twist. There's cement stairs. There's like 15 of them, and there's grass down at the bottom. So my dad's walking. The cats trip him, and my dad starts to fall down the stairs with me in his arms. And his first thought is he don't want to land on me. So he thought the best thing would be to throw me onto the grass and I didn't quite make it. So I hit the last stair. When I hit the last stair, my tongue was out and I hit the bottom of my jaw. And what it did was split my tongue in half like a snake. It took 165 stitches inside and 165 on the outside to reconnect my tongue. It shoved every tooth, all my front teeth here back into my gums, shoved them back in. So I had no front teeth from 5 years old to 12 years old. No front teeth. You talk about all I want for Christmas is my two front teeth. That's all I heard. So I didn't have that. It cracked my skull. If we ever meet in person, and we will, you'd feel that skulls, it's overlapped. A bunch of stuff split my eyelid open. My blood, so I only memory is like about to fall in the back of my dad's car. And Stater Brothers is a grocery store we have. And you can get paper or plastic. My dad had these paper bags, and he had 2 paper bags in it. And I remember looking in the paper bag, and because we're in the mountains, the closest hospital is like 30 minutes away. So do you call 911 and wait for an ambulance to drive 30 minutes up to you to pick you up and drive 30 minutes back down? So my dad threw me in the back of the car, and we're racing to the hospital. Now he's trying to keep me conscious, yelling at me, saying, just stay awake, stay awake. And I remember looking in this paper bag, and like, it felt like an inch of blood I saw, puddling. Then I remember being held on this board by a bunch of doctors and while they're sewing my tongue. Little memories here and there, but I did, I died, had to be revived, I think 3 different times.
Yes.
And it just, it was rough. It definitely was rough. I'm glad it was at a younger age. I think I'm glad it's because it's like the memory of it is kind of, not as strong, but that was super traumatic.
Let me tell you something. When I heard the story, I kind of like, I felt so bad. I actually got emotional. I told you it's behind. Yeah. And me and my wife, we actually read the information together. And, for you to be who you are, man. Right. You got to be a damn superhuman. I'm telling you. No, it's just like, I hear it. I've heard stories, and you're like, there's a reason you're here. I've heard people tell other people, and everything happens for a reason, right? Oh, yeah. And I always hear that, and it's weird because those items get proven to me when it's time to be proven to me. So for all my life, I could be, how could breaking my skull open, how could that ever be a good thing? How would that ever? And then you're 42 years old and realize, man, if that didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened. And that way, it's just a chain of events that are out of our control, and I think come from some type of higher power. Exactly. So after this injury, you had to go through a lot of rehabilitation. A lot. Yeah. And what's going on right now? So everything happened, like you said, for a reason. So you actually recovered from this. Yeah. Everything happens for a reason. So you actually started music. You actually started getting into your music like real hard. Oh yeah. Yeah. And come to find out, you was this one-man band that we all know. You're right. Because you can play so many instruments, and you know how to play use these machines. Yeah. And the crazy part is, mind you, he went through all of this, and music, out of all the things in the world, he wanted to still do that music. Yeah. Nothing made him forget it, because remember, he was playing the guitar with a damn tennis racket. Yeah. And for you to actually be into the music, still love, that's just love. No one could tell you that. Oh yeah. And I do have to mention really where it comes from is I grew up in a musical household. My entire family line, my whole genetic code plays music. Every human being in my family plays music. My dad was in a traveling band called The Fog. They would practice. These were like, he was on a major label. He traveled. They used to practice in our living room. My mom would play the congas. My dad would play guitar and sing. And I remember a memory getting stuck in her congas. I would climb up in there during practice, and I got stuck in a conga, and they had to take apart. It was incredible. But my influences definitely came
from, I mean, we're all influenced by something. We take a little bit from each, but I grew up with, in a household with the Doors, Allman Brothers, Beatles,
Okay. Yeah.
that type of music. My mom listening to Heart, and but then my brother listening to Dr. Dre and Snoop and Wu-Tang, is like I had a wild influence from every direction. But as far as the music, the love for music came from my dad. After he was touring band, he then became a professor at a university teaching music. So
Wow.
the entire time, they still to this day in their restaurant, they play every Friday night. Excuse me. My dad gives free guitar lessons. So yeah, music to this day is everywhere.
Yes. So now you got into music production, but you didn't have your own equipment at the time. You was
Right.
you was using your friend's equipment,
Yeah.
and eventually you said, "I'm tired of this. Let me go
Oh,
ahead
yeah.
and get my own stuff."
Yeah.
And lo and behold, you became this one-man band. Now
Yeah.
you can play all these instruments. You're
Yeah.
putting things together. You're putting music together. You start music production. And we're going to go a little further, because what happened then, you actually got an actual deal
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Gladiator Records. Is that correct?
Yes. So 2006, I was during
Wow.
that time I was a firefighter. So and we can go back to that, but basically ever since 13, I was a fire explorer. So just that's kind of like Boy Scouts, I guess. But you
Yeah.
get to go there, you learn, and you get to go on ride outs and stuff. And I did that from 13 until when I was 18, got hired. But I was on my path to being a firefighter. But in the same time, I never lost my love for music or wanting to be an MC. I really rap for me. When I tell people I rap, I almost hate to tell them that, because immediately in their mind, rap is labeled as something to them. And they're picturing me doing that something, whoever they're picturing. And I hate that, because it's really different. For example, my co-host Dismos, I could promise, listen to and raps differently than me. He was influenced by different type of rap than what I listen to. So there's lots of different versions of every type of music,
Exactly.
But it is, yeah,
That's
it is.
crazy.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's crazy. So you got the deal. What happened with the deal? Because what happened, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you got the deal with them, you signed with them, and
Well, I'll
yeah.
explain it. So I'm a firefighter up in by Lake Silverwood. I'm a Forest Service working on an engine. So we're a wildland firefighting crew. I sent a demo, put together a 3-song demo. I sent it to one label only because at that time I was really into being lyrical, and there was an
Right.
emcee, Cannabis. Okay.
Okay.
And the way he put stuff together blew my
Amazing.
mind. He's like an alien. So he was on that label. And my dream was I got to do a song with this guy. I need them to know that I'm alive. So I sent my demo to one label, that label. One day, my captain, I see him pick up the phone, and he's a shocked look, and he goes, "Yeah, hold on, let me get him." So I go get the phone. It's Tommy Lee. He was the president of Gladiator Records. He invited me down. He said, we got your demo. We really love what you got going. We want to see what else you got. I go down there. We're all excited. I call my dad. He gets an entertainment lawyer and sends him down to meet me down there.
Right.
And when I get there, they try to impress you. It's a big round table. They have a golden plaque with my name already on it. They have a folder with my name on it. I go into the studio, and I'll never forget this. Abstract Rude was in there. It was a three studios in a row, 3 vocal booths. So they tell me go in there. So I go in there, and we're just freestyling. So we're just taking turns, vibing, freestyling. Well, I think most MCs do this. I start with memorized written stuff that I have.
Right.
But then once I get comfortable, it is and I rap
Off the
different.
head.
I didn't grow up like Dismos in South Central. I grew up in a small mountain community. I didn't go to a trap house. I did not sling drugs. I wasn't part of a gang. You know what I'm saying? I don't have bitches and hoes. Like what? I could not rap about any of the things that rap is about.
Right.
From my perspective. So anyways, it was a shocker, and I know it's a shock value. At that time, there definitely wasn't Asian guys rapping, so it was more of a shock value. Then they asked, do you have any songs? So then I said, yeah, I got some songs. One of them was called The Prayer. The other one was My Town, and Fire Call. So I said, yeah, I got some. So I'm going to do that song. So I don't have my beats or anything with me. I tell them what tempo, the vibe. They put on a beat. I rap Fire Call. They love it. They love the whole idea because it's the perspective of a firefighter rapping. There's not a lot of rapping firefighters that I know of.
Me either.
So it was a perspective and a mountain community, being Asian. There's so many things that were unique to that sound. So they really liked it. They had me do 2 others. They recorded all 3. Now here's the little catch. When I went into this studio, you sign a piece of paper saying, if you slip and fall or any injury, you cannot sue this studio. I signed that. But realistically, in there, it's also saying any sound, noise, voice note, any verbiage that is recorded in the studio, they own.
Of course.
So
I've seen that before.
So, me being naive, I sign it. We go to the table. My entertainment lawyer comes up. He reads the contract. So they offered me $500,000 signing bonus. But here's the difference. When Eminem gave a signing bonus to 50 Cent, it was $1 million signing bonus, a real signing bonus where you say, here's $1 million. Don't sign with anybody else. You're exclusive to us.
Right.
Their signing bonus was just a loan. Here's $500,000. You have until 2009 to pay it back. And you don't even get to come out until 2008. And if you're only getting 1 point, I would have to have been like quadruple platinum to even pay my debt back. I would have been bigger than Eminem. So it was a loan, and my entertainment lawyer signs it, circles it, all these marks all over it. Anyways, we denied it. We said no. And the craziest part is after that, I go back to being a firefighter, and I kind of, hard on myself thinking like, this is the safe bet. I'm a respectable job. I just need to focus on this. What am I like? I'll focus on this. I'll put together a better demo and I'll send it to a better label, which I didn't do. I did not do those things. So, went throughout life, and there's lots in between, continue to be firefighter. But the long version of that story, trying to make it shorter, is not until I was an adult with 2 kids. And years ago, I put up a video on YouTube of my son, and he was laughing as a baby, and it was the coolest video ever. It was linked to this email. I wanted to find this video. Anyways, it was an old email when I was living in Georgia. I look at this email, and for 4 years, damn, I can't even think of his name. Let me get the paper real quick. One second.
So I see everybody in the building. Hound House Treats, what up? Okay, we got Finesse Banks in the building right now. My man Santana's in the building. Okay, you got some people up in here. You got some support in here, brother. Trust me.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. All the fan bam that's in here. Thank you guys for real. Thank you for the support. His name is Dave Rocco. He is the president, vice president of creative at Universal Music Public Group. Okay. He emailed me for 4 years, and he kept trying to get a hold of me. And I'm like, who is this guy? Who is this?
Yeah.
So I go look, and I'm reading his email, and he's like, he bought out Gladiator Records, and he's trying to explain all this stuff. So I finally get a hold of him. The shortest version I can make this is Universal bought out Gladiator Records. They went bankrupt. Universal bought Gladiator Records. When you buy a record label, you own all masters in there. One of those masters was labeled Fire Call, from Jinyung King.
No doubt.
That same song, Fire Call, went gold on a mixtape in 2011 from Chi Smith, Rhymesayer. Go look it up. Rhymesayer from Chicago. Chi Smith is his real name, his government. He rapped that exact song, and he even used the same firefighter friends of mine. It says a pike pole is a tool in the fire department. Cole, grab the pike pole. Have Mike grab the flashlight, because Robbie probably already has a good bite on the back of the building. Evacuate women and children. The only thing coming down is the ceiling. I have it all. He used every one of the same word for word. So what happened was Gladiator Records sold that song to Chi Smith, and it went gold on a mixtape. When they bought it, and when they took over Gladiator, and they seen there's no contractual agreement between Jinyung King and Gladiator Records releasing rights to that song, they knew they didn't own it. So basically in his email, he said, to bring closure to this matter, we want to give the gold certificate to the rightful owner. Okay, so
you lying. Come on, stop playing, bro.
So
What?
they send me my gold record. Okay.
What?
But I'll tell you, it does not bring closure for many reasons.
Exactly.
It's not even just about the money. The money, of course, I would love that. I don't want to be a 9-to-5 selling auto parts.
Exactly.
But more so, what that would have done for my confidence, my belief in myself, my drive would have been completely different.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I would rather have experienced it myself and known that I was good enough to go gold instead of somebody else, you know, and then having some cheesy ass plaque for it that I didn't really earn myself, you know.
Right.
So yeah, that's what happened, and still in court to this day over it.
Yeah,
they've tried to settle, and I just know that, I mean, lawyers told me they're gonna just drain until I'm can't afford it anymore or give up.
Of course. Yeah. But let me tell you something. So now from my eyes looking in, you might have didn't perform the song, but you actually wrote it.
Yep.
You understand? So let me first off, let's put this out there first. Because everybody can't say that, brother. You literally wrote a hit record. And you got a plaque for it. But I get what you're saying as far as your confidence when it actually came to actually recording. You didn't actually do what you were set out to do. And it kind of broke a lot of the intentions of being an artist. Because as an artist, we want to perform every song ourselves.
Yeah.
You understand? They kind of cheated you out of the situation. They did.
And
they
I mean, to get even a little more deep on there, just to be honest with you, I don't think everybody struggles with this. Well, I know they don't. But this is just my perspective, how I viewed things. I didn't see any other Asian guys rapping when I wanted to fit into a culture that I didn't see any of me around, and I didn't live that way. I didn't talk that way, but I loved everything about that culture. I never felt accepted or equal to. So hearing something like that or getting feedback like that would have made me feel accepted.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, we accept your ass now, damn it.
Appreciate you, brother.
I'm gonna tell you that right now. We
Appreciate
accept
you, man.
You is definitely one of the pioneers, man. You paved the way. You understand? For people like you that feel confident enough to do something.
Yeah.
So you're definitely doing something. So now here we go. There's a twist to this, guys. All right. I'm gonna put something up. I'm gonna put this picture up, and we're gonna explain because I don't know if y'all heard, but he was a firefighter at one time for 12 years. Am I right?
Yep.
So this was the service, right? This is one of the
that was my last one. I've done everything from San Bernardino County City Fire Department, county. I started there, and then went to San Bernardino City. Then Mountain Division, then the U.S. Forest Service, where I was a hot shot, a helitac crew, and then an engine.
So now we know why this man loves to help. Damn it, I'm telling you, nothing like a firefighter. And I always said that I respect them so much because of what they do for us. You understand? It's like I hold the same respect for you guys as people that's serving in the Navy and the Army, because you're protecting. You're going in these fires. You literally just go in. Doesn't matter what floor it is. You literally jump in head first and say, look, let's save enough people as we can.
Yeah.
You understand? So for you to do that, listen, at the end of the day, salute, brother.
Appreciate you, brother.
You did a service to us all. You really have. So
appreciate that.
Talk to me about the accident as far as it was a fire. It was this big fire.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fires, but one in particular.
Yeah. The one that definitely changed my entire life. That's for sure. So I'd say my whole life, I love to help people, wanted to be in any way. You know, some people will know this feeling, but when you hear sirens, your curiosity is so heightened. You're like, what's going on? Well, when you grow up in a mountain community and it's like there's not a lot to do, so you hear the sirens and everybody goes. But now if you're not an explorer or firefighter, you can't help. You see what they're doing, but you can't go in there and help them hold that back or help them.
No.
And I wanted to help. I like the feeling of helping. I like to help others. So, this was always wanted to do this firefighter. At this time, I was up at an engine. I left Heaps Peak, where from a helicopter you'd rappel out to fight fire. I went from that to an engine. So this is my second year on an engine. My ex-wife came up to the station. Now for Forest Service, we had like a 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Was our job, our shift. At 6, you're off work, but all that means is until a call comes. So, a call comes, whether it's a traffic accident to a drowning to a fire, you get called back, everybody gears up and you go out to the call. So 6 p.m. We get off work. Me and my ex go meet my best friends. They were on another engine. She's never met them before. I come home and talk about, all my buddies at the fire department, but she's never met them. So this was the chance to go meet them. So we all go down to this restaurant. So we all have dinner, have a great time. We all go back up. She decides to spend the night at the fire station with me.
Oh, wow.
We stay the night there. Next morning, 8 a.m, we get dispatched to a fire in this Cabazon area. It was like already 40,000 acres. And they do a strike team. And what basically it is, they're a strike team. They're going to call multiple engines. And let's say engine from here, here, and here. We need 3 of this type of engine. We need 2 bulldozers. We need 3 helicopters. We need 2 planes. That would be one strike team. So we're dispatched to a strike team out there. So is the guys that we went to dinner with the night before. So we all go to dinner. We all go to this fire. So I see the guys. When we're going to the fire, my ex-wife was following us, and behind the fire truck, she goes home. We go to the fire. We're fighting the fire. We're assigned to hold the left flank of the fire. I was lead fireman, so that just means I'm the nozzle guy. So we get out, and our job was to hold this fire at this road. There's some horse corrals, and about 200 yards down the dirt road was the engine of my best friends that we went to dinner with. Well, is extreme weather behavior, extreme. And like, people don't even understand the importance of weather and what it can tell you. But in a dangerous situation like that, I'll get nerdy for a second. Cumulus nimbus clouds. Okay. The big puffy ass ones, those form above mountains. There's a reason, because the bursts of wind, air flows up the mountain face, accumulates cumulus nimbus clouds. Those type of clouds have extreme downforce winds. And when there's a fire beneath those clouds with downforce winds, it sends fire in every direction. It's not planned like wind blowing it in one, it's every direction.
Wow.
When you get spot fires around you, you start to get trapped. So basically we had those type of weather conditions. My captain, we hear, it sounded like a freight train. I can't describe it any other way. The loudest roar you've ever seen. And everybody could picture what 80 miles an hour is like, right? If you were standing still and a car drove by you at 80 miles an hour, how fast
it's going to
fast. We watched, it was all medium grass. So 2-3 foot dry grass. You know how easy that lights.
Yes, that's easy.
A wall of fire, probably 60 feet tall, traveling 80 miles an hour across this field coming at us.
I tell you what, hold that thought.
Go ahead.
Hold that thought, because what he's explaining, I actually have a video, and just for people to understand the dangers of what you've been through. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play the video for like a good minute, just to let people see the devastation, and then we're gonna come right back with Jinyung King. All right, so we're gonna get this video going, and just look at this fire, y'all. This is actually the thing. Let's see.
protecting those horses and the corrals below you.
Yeah, we got it. We need to. We'll just put a curtain up, and if we have to, we'll cut them.
Okay. Hey, Spanky, it's going to come down that canyon.
Wow.
Devastating. So I can only imagine the heat from that. Like that's
Oh, it's
wow.
so shocking. It is so shocking. You could be so far away with equipment on and it still hurts. It's unbelievable, the heat.
Ooh.
When you're right up on it. There's one
Use the
technique
nozzle guy.
Yeah, and what you're doing is laying down. You're outlining that fire, so you're racing the edge of that fire, trying to tie it in. So another crew is on the other side, and you guys are trying to meet and get a wet line all the way around it. Then hot shot comes behind it, and they cut and remove fuel. So now it's bare soil, and you just let it burn itself out that way on a wildland fire. But yeah, it is unbelievable heat, that's for sure. So we heard this freight train, a wall of fire. That right there, what you were looking at, that is a fire that's slowly spreading. That's intense flames, but slowly spreading. Imagine twice that height, a solid wall, but moving at a rate of 80 miles an hour. And it creates this sound like a freight train. So we hear this, and I start to see people's heads popping up looking. Your head down doing what you need to do. But when you hear that, everybody starts looking. I look to my captain, and he does a symbol, the wrap up symbol, and he does it one time. And what that's meaning is wrap the hoses up. We're about to leave, and you have a 1 minute warning. Okay. At 30 seconds, he'll honk the horn. But this is the thing. He's leaving when he says he's leaving. He doesn't have time to babysit and make sure, did you hear the message? And so my captain does that. I look down the road, and this is literally like a movie, but this is exactly what happened. I have a hard line, so not the normal fire hoses that you guys see that are all, this one is a hard line, and it rolls up on a hard reel with a button. So I have that out. I see my captain. I'm going to go reel my hose back in, but before I do, I look down the road, and I see all my guys that I went to dinner with, all my best friends. So I yell to them. And I'm telling them, I'm giving them every signal I can. Cut it. Let's go. Let's go. So my friend yells to the captain. I see their captain do no, we're holding it. They denied leaving. And I'm saying, come on, let's go.
Let's go.
Captain's going, no, we're holding it. So right then my engine starts to drive away. I don't even have time to run and get on the engine. I seriously I tangle my arms up in the hose. I bear hug myself. And I lay down on the dirt, and they're dragging me. They're dragging me down this dirt road while I'm looking down my feet, looking at those guys. And I literally watched, man.
Take your time, man. Take your time. This is a horrific story. Like, oh wow.
Damn. I thought I was going to be able to. I just watched all of them burn alive, and it was
wow.
It was horrible.
Yeah. I couldn't listen. I'm we're telling this story, y'all, and what's going on right now is like this is something that he's never really told anybody, and probably a handful, if that. And man. I appreciate you. Listen, take your time because I appreciate you coming up here and really letting us be a witness to this because again. It's something that you've been through, and you've been through a lot even before this.
Oh yeah.
You understand? So for this to happen, it's like, wait a minute.
It was just to watch them standing up and burn in place, and just immediate. Just you can imagine what it's like. And so I called my ex-wife, bawling. Told her what happened, and all the guys that you just met last night, I just watched them all die. And we just had my daughter 3 months before that, and she said, today's your last day. And I said, you're right. and I quit that day. My captain quit, my engineer quit, 16 other firefighters quit. Now they offer like therapy and stuff after, and I wish I did do that, but it was so much. It was just so much. We were put in a position that we shouldn't have been, and out of anger, we quit. Anger and hurt. So as a wildland firefighter, you hold these, it's called 18 situations to shout, watch out. All right. So you carry these rules. You have to have them memorized. So in the middle of the most stressful situation, a captain will turn to you and say, Rule 16. And you better know Rule 16 or you're kicked off of the department. Right. You have to know your rules. So when a division chief says, take the left flank. Now we know the winds are pushing the fire directly at you. We know that you're downslope, a 17-degree slope. We know that we're breaking 12 of the 18 rules, but still, I'm the division chief. Right. Go left. So we listen. And, you know, it's like, I don't know if everybody really understands the risk. Yes, everybody knows there's a risk, but okay, I'm putting my life in the hands of my captain. And I have to be all the way honest with this. I love him. We had great memories, but he's retired. But that man has a issue with alcohol. Okay. So at 6 p.m. we'd get off of work and my captain I would drive with him up to a liquor store. We'd walk in. He wouldn't say a word. They'd put apricot brandy on the counter. They don't even talk. She knew what he wanted. Apricot brandy. He'd crack it open and down it like he's drinking a Gatorade. And like, so anyways, anyways, he would be shit-faced by 7 p.m. And then I can't even tell you how many times we've went on a call at 7:30 and that guy comes back and he's in charge of us and making decisions. Quick little story. Another reason why that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. There's a Cajon Pass where I live and a freeway splits. There was a fire down in a bowl. I'm fireman, lead fire. He says, King, go down there. And you have the right to refuse an assignment. I refused. I said, Captain, one, I know that you're absolutely drunk. I went with you to the liquor store. You're shit-faced right now. You can barely stand up. And you're telling me to go down there and I'm breaking like 11 of the rules. Are you sure? You sure? Yeah, I can't do that. So I said, I'm sorry. And you know, a manly, you're going to look like a wuss. I didn't give a shit. I had my daughter. I said, I'm going to refuse the assignment. Damn right. We just hired an 18-year-old Hispanic kid trying to prove himself. He said, oh, I got it. I'll do it. So he did it. He went down there. The fire spotted. He was surrounded by fire, and his only escape route is to jump through 10-foot wall of flame onto a freeway where they didn't shut down the freeway yet. Cars still going. He gets trapped, jumps through the wall. And the short version of the story, he got 3rd-degree burns on 80% of his body. He has to wear a neoprene mask and neoprene gloves every day of his life for the rest of his life. That would have been me if I did not. Yes. So after the other fire where my buddies, I thought, man, we're putting all of our life in this dude's hands. And it's just crazy. I didn't like that. So anyways, I quit that day. That was my last day. I went from that to go be a district manager for Burger King.
I know that's right. Listen.
Way safer.
My goodness. Yes, you saved your life by refusing that, man. And, you know, you're not a wuss. Let me tell you something. You're not a wuss for turning that down. You were smart.
Yeah.
And that was definitely something. I'm so happy because we wouldn't know you read down. We wouldn't.
Right.
If you would have just listened to that guy, and thank God you actually noticed this man drinking. Like he was shit-faced, like you said, on every damn assignment.
Every
emergency, you drunk and you telling people what to do. No way. So thank God you didn't listen. And you know, at the end of the day, I salute you for being a fireman you done saved so many lives. And look what you're doing now. But you actually moved to Atlanta.
Yeah. To Georgia. I lived in Savannah.
Savannah, Georgia. So, so now I know it had to be some type of depression from that.
I can't even express the level. Like I have to say this because it might impact somebody. Man,
Yeah.
I hate to even admit it, but I definitely reached so low that the only reason I'm here now is my kids.
Yes.
That level of not wanting to be here anymore is a very scary place when you just don't care. And man,
You actually felt that.
oh yeah, it was. I had to get out of here. I couldn't see wildland firefighters anymore. I couldn't see the engines going by. I couldn't hear a siren. I couldn't be around. I wanted a complete start over. So my brother one day sent me a price of houses out there. It was, I mean, it's like 280,000 for a 5-bedroom, 2-acre, has his own lake. And I'm like, what? I'm on my way. I'm living in a 2-bedroom shack for 500,000. I'm out. So
Out of here.
We moved. We went to Georgia. I just applied. My parents ran restaurants their whole life. I grew up in the food industry, so I knew it. So I exaggerated my resume.
No doubt.
And just said that I was really great at what I do in the food industry, even though I was a firefighter. So then they would call to my dad and say, was Jinyung King your regional manager for your restaurant? He said, yeah, he was the best manager I ever had. So I got hired as a Burger King district manager, ran 20 Burger Kings over there, started over there. It was great. I loved it back there. And yeah, we just kind of got tired. I didn't. My ex-wife did not enjoy the weather out there and wanted to come back here. So we came back here in anticipation to take over my parents' restaurant. That was the plan. Yeah.
Check you out. So so you didn't take the therapy that they wanted to give you. And you know, at that point, I guess you felt like the end of the fucking world. Because it's like you saw your friends. I couldn't even imagine that, bro. And a lot of people here that's in this room right now is feeling for you, brother. I'm telling you, I'm feeling for you because again, I've never met Kingtech. I've never met Jinyung. Never in person. Never met him in person. But this is the power of the internet. And this is my little brother right now. I'm talking to my little bro right now. And at the end of the day, we all respect you for coming up here and giving us this story because we all see you doing these shows. You're so charismatic. You're one of the best spokesmen for any brand.
Thank you.
You're a brand. You're a brand. It's
man,
amazing.
I want to explain that honestly. It's like I want to be honest about this. Why it's exciting to me as well is to get a compliment like that. I have no training in being a host, an interviewer, a social media influencer, a brand ambassador. I have none of that. All it was is I like to entertain. I'm a smart ass. I like to be funny. As a kid, I would make fun of infomercials, right? And I would go into the living room to my parents and out of the blue, they didn't expect it. And I would just turn to my parents and, are you guys having a rough day? Then I recommend the new flavor from Red Bull. So they'd bust up and I loved it. I made them laugh and I thought they'd go, you know what? You're good at that. Like you sound like the infomercial. So I'd always do this imitation to where it just so happened when I did this Instagram thing, and we can get into that if we even have time. But when I wanted to get sponsors, it just naturally, I said, you know what? I'm going to do an advertisement where I'm going to use my personality. I'm going to try to be funny and I'm going to go over the top where, you know, whatever it is, like, are you tired of that gross ass shake you get at the bottom of the bag? Don't go get any other pre-roll. Make sure you go get Wheatwoods with a Z. That's what I did. And these companies love the shit. They're like, dude, nobody has energy. So they started sending me free shit. And I thought, wait a minute, I'm onto something. Free shit turn into something. Then I'd call the company and say, that's really cool. I don't need 25 cases of liquid death water. Instead, how about send me money and I'll buy the liquid death. So it transformed. So anyways, I appreciate that compliment. It was,
definitely.
That's all it was about, is like, that's where it came from, is just trying to be a smart ass.
So now this whole conversation is about to change. All right. So now let me show y'all something. These kids that he has, I'm telling you, these two,
Gorgeous.
you know, what is their names?
Caden and
Uh-huh.
Bailey. And I just
So-
want to explain real quick. Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
Don't worry about it. Go
Caden,
for
all
it.
right, my son. I definitely was traumatized growing up. I was born in a small city in the USA. Okay, lived here my whole life. My name is Jinyung Hanul. Okay, those are my first and middle name. My brother was born in Korea. Okay, and his name is Joseph John King the Third.
Hold on. Whoa. Hold on. How he get the regular
That's
name?
what I'm
American
saying.
name?
So when I go to have my son, I remember I used to go to school early for attendance, and I say, "Don't call me Chim Young or Ching Chang, or let's agree on something." So they would call me my initials, JK.
There you go.
So I'm like, okay. So I'd show up to every class early. When you do attendance, can you say JK, please? So when I'm naming my son Caden, right? I wanted the most generic names they will not be embarrassed of, but for some reason I chose to spell it Caydon.
Oh wow.
And now every time they're like K-Don.
Oh, just
I'm like,
messing it all up.
I just can't even win. I still screwed it.
It's the American way. They just screw
Right.
up names. They do. They screw up names. So
Yeah.
now what happened? So now let me explain. Let's move further down. So you actually, one of the first videos that you did is with your daughter, if I'm not mistaken, and you actually created a song out of a hoodie zipper.
Yeah. So I got to explain that. I wasn't doing Instagram, no social media. Excuse me. I even quit music altogether for over 10 years. That depression, it got to a point like the only thing that would take my mind off of what I was currently thinking about would be watching YouTube videos. And I had to find a video that would get me so engulfed in it that I wouldn't think about anything other than what I'm watching at that moment. So I started research. I was fascinated by, pyramids in Egypt, and I know way too much about it now, but I would research, that, and I would just do that every night. And what happened though, is I'm secluding myself. I didn't want to socialize with anybody. I wanted to lock away. I didn't want to be judged by people, looked at by people, like, just leave me alone. Let me rot. I started to see that rub off on my kids.
Right.
And I hated that. My social anxiety, my awkwardness. So I had to change it. I had to do something. So I started, I wanted to start engaging myself with my kids again, more so.
Yes.
My daughter loved Billie Eilish at the time, loved this song. And I knew my musical ability. I knew that every sound on planet Earth can be duplicated. They're just sound waves. That's the reason you could have a car horn on a keyboard or a telephone on a keyboard, just sound waves. Knowing that, I listened to they're at school. I listened to the Billie Eilish song. I broke down in my mind each individual sound. How could I recreate it? Yes, I could recreate it on my instruments, but I want to impress my kids. I want to show them. So I had this zipper, or this hoodie that had this really heavy zipper right here. I noticed if I zipped up and down at this particular rhythm, I could loop that and it would sound just like the Billie Eilish song. So I did that. There's songs where I include like a wire whisk, a cheese grater with a wooden spoon. You have to get this. Anyways, I remake this Billie Eilish song and it was good. I thought it was really good. So I did it audio, right? But visually, I needed people to see what I was doing to create that beat.
Exactly.
So I did it. I showed my kids. They lost it. They loved it so much. My daughter convinced me put it on Facebook, and I chose Facebook because that's your safe place. That's your friends, your so-called friends. So I posted it there, and I got a good reaction. And it just started growing to a point where Facebook friends convinced me to go to Instagram, saying, man, you can get a larger audience for this. Like, what you're doing is super creative. It's fun to watch. I had people telling me on Saturdays, I wake up with my kids just to watch your videos. Like, we eat breakfast around the table watching your videos. They get a kick out of you. And it's not just that you're making a beat. It's your personality, like your energy. You're really amped and you're always happy. It seems like nothing's ever bothering you. And that's where I started to hear that. And yeah, so that is where it definitely started, was that.
That's crazy. So now going back to that, so what's going on with you now? How did all of a sudden you had the wherewithal through all of this to become one of the most successful influencers on social media? Like
That is,
literally one of the you can't be on social media if no one know who Kingtechtv is.
right.
I don't know what Rocky Wonder. I
Thank
really
you,
don't.
brother. And
And
I'm just proud of it. Ranked 13 in the United States for 2022. So I was very excited about that.
let me give you a round of applause for that because I didn't even know that. So that's breaking news. Let's get back
Yeah.
13. That has to make you feel good.
Oh, it does,
Now,
because it's all natural. None of this was planned. If we described the whole chain of events, why I'm here right now talking to you,
yeah,
I'm
that's
equally as excited because I lived it and got to see each step of the way where this is a natural progression. It was, yeah, it was crazy how quickly it happened.
yeah, and it happened. It happened. What happened? Like I said, I saw you a couple of years ago, and what happened? I start seeing you do these videos with different machines, different beat machines. This got a guitar. He's playing the guitar. He's doing a beat within 15 minutes, and they was dope beats. He was recreating beats that we already heard already, and it's like,
Yeah.
how is this man doing this? And only in 2022 would I actually said, I'm gonna talk to this guy. I'm gonna see if I could get him on my show, and I'd
Yeah.
be damned if he didn't say yes. And we've been friends every damn
Oh
since. I'm
yeah.
not even
Oh
gonna lie.
yeah.
So you created this thing called the King's Table. Explain the King's Table to people, please.
So I'll try to keep it short as I can. But basically, when I came on Instagram, was about me showing my musical talents. Okay.
Yeah.
What that did is I started having legends just pop in on my live. I'd be making live beats, and I had El DeBarge pop in.
Wow.
Like, to have El DeBarge, that makes me stop everything. That is a legend. And then I started having legend after legend after legend popping in my life. One particular one, shortest version is one guy saw me, introduced me to Roach Killer. He had his own show called Real Talk. He invited me on that show. I went on that show, performed with my loop station. After that, another show, it was the Cannabis Babes invited me there. I went on there. But then Roach said, I have this friend Dismos, and you guys are similar. Like, I think you'd get along. So I was live one day, and he told Dismos about me. So I'm making beats. I see Dismos in there, and I go, "What up, Dismos?" And I'm shout people out that I see, in the live. But what happened is we formed a bond. We really hit it off. That is like my brother. We think very similar, same sense of humor. But the cool part about it is me growing up as an MC and being such a fan of hip hop, I'm very knowledgeable about that. Okay. I had my own set of heroes growing up. And just in a conversation with Dismos one day, what happened? Sorry, I skipped a part. Even the reason I started interviewing people is I'm live, and I had like El DeBarge pop in, and they'd want to go live with me, and I'd hit accept, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And we start talking, and then I started getting messages from people saying, "Man, how long you been interviewing? I love the way you interact." I'm like, "What? I've never interviewed anybody." I was shocked. So Dismo said, you should start like interviewing. I know a bunch of people, man. I can connect you. I'll call Razkaz tonight. And I like
Razkaz.
I go, hold up. Like, Raz was somebody, he was way up on my list of MCs. So right there, I was almost like starstruck. Like, really? You can call Raz? And that is like scratching the surface of who he knows, affiliated, grew up with, who was his neighbor, who lived above him. Like, I could go on for hours of how connected the whole industry is, really, but he knows everybody. And it was one by one. But there's a thing. This is what I want to point out to this show. All it is a show where we interview not only legends, they're my childhood heroes. They've impacted not just music, but culture in general. All the way from that to an up and comer nobody has heard about. And there's a reason that I do that. Me liking to help people translates from the job I had to what I do today. It is, if I can open a door for somebody, it's still helping. If I know somebody is looking for this style MC and I'm not that MC, but I do know somebody that is, I'm going to open that door. I'm a dot connector. And I get, I like that. I really like doing that. And that's all it is. That's what our show is. We interview up and comers, people that are OG legends that may not be heard about anymore. And I thought this is a perfect scenario, Dismos. These are childhood friends of yours that you haven't talked to in 10, 15 years. I get to reconnect your guys' friendship. But guess what? I win because I'm having J.O. Felony or, I'm having big ass names on my show.
Exactly.
They win because I have a large platform and now they get to be seen on a large platform. It's like revitalizing their career. Everybody wins. All three parts win. So that's why I thought it's a perfect scenario. That's what we got going on.
Let me tell you something. So for those who don't know who Dismos is, one of the most charismatic guys on social media. And let me show you this picture of this guy. All right. This is Dismos. All right. One of the most genuine people I've ever met. Like, I don't even know how you can keep a straight face because his
he is hilarious. He is the most genuine dude for sure.
For sure. He's up in here, actually. He's literally up in here.
Oh, dope. Yeah, he is what I like too, he probably don't want me to say this, but this dude is like, he's got this tough Dismos. But this dude is a genuine, kind-hearted, cares for people. He would give you the shirt off his back. He doesn't even have a shirt in his profile, probably because he gave it to somebody. This dude is very giving. He's genuine, authentic. There's no trickery, fake shit about him. He keeps it 100% of the time.
And that's the truth. That's the absolute truth. I gotta salute that guy, man. And I actually seen his movie. He has an actual movie out. That movie is crazy on Tubi. But
7th and Westlake.
7th and Westlake, exactly.
Yeah.
Gangster. He was gangster in that. I was like, oh, okay. So now we're gonna get back to you. So because you actually got a new single out. You got a single out. It's called Smoke With Me. But before we get to Smoke With Me, tell me about the brand as far as your cannabis. Because you actually is the guy. So talk to us about the
and I just got to mention why this is all so exciting. It's effortless. Things fall into place and you paint this story. And when it comes all together full circle, it's like it was already written. History was already written before I even attempted it. Basically, I was a guest judge for a cannabis cup and I was sponsored by a particular company. That company got second. First place was Weedwoods, and Weedwoods hit me and they said, we saw you judging and we love your energy. We love you were real honest about everyone's product, but you did it in a funny way. So they said, you ever try a Weedwoods? I said, no, but you guys won. So I'm sure it's good. I'd love to try it. They're 2 hours away from me. So the next day on my lunch break, they drove to me, hand delivered a wooden box with 3 of them in there. And I thought, oh my God, you guys' packaging is so on point. How cool. And you drove to hand deliver them to me. My other company, like it took me 6 months or something to even get a free one out of them. So anyways, I just thought, wow, they're really cool people. Then I go home and I got to indulge in one, and on everything I have smoked everything from the tippy north of California to the bottom boot of Florida and everything in between. I don't care what people say. No, my guys, no, I've had everything in every form you can grow it. I've grown myself for over 25 years. I'm very experienced. I have an extensive cannabis background. That is the best I've ever smoked in my life. And I said that before I had any sponsorship from him. The Terpinator is what won 3 years in a row, and it's a blind taste test. So every company sends their top product to do that, and you have no clue who sent it. So to win 3 years in a row, it speaks volumes to me. So anyways, I teamed up with them. They sponsored me, and for the longest time, that's what we were doing. I would just advertise their product. They'd send me product, or we made our own deal.
Nice.
Goes to a full sponsorship, and what happened was one day, I reached out to them. They offered to do a pre-roll for me, Kingtechtv pre-roll, and I'm like, oh man, I would love it. I want my own shit. Well, it just so happened that Dismos had a birthday coming up, and he was going to fly back to the States. Now, I've done a show for over a year with Dismos and never met him in person. Okay, so I was like, man, Weedwoods, let's do something special. Instead of giving it to me, what if we make Dismos his own pre-roll for his birthday? Wouldn't that be like a cool birthday present? That's something I could offer him, and I would love to do that. Like, they said, yeah. So
wait, before you say that, because I have to say this. My birthday is coming up June 11th. I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out.
Yeah. Oh, we'll take care of you.
Damn, go ahead. Continue.
So I wanted to do that for Dismos. They agreed. So then me and Dismos, we're entrepreneurs. We're thinking of how can we create this into something bigger using our platform to include people. So we go to my Instagram, we go live. All right, if Dismos had a pre-roll, what would you call it? I had over 1,200 suggestions for names. Fitted Santana, he recommended Dis Dat Shit because his name's Dismos. Dis That Shit. We loved it. Everybody loved it. We went with the name. So Weedwoods created the logo, put the name. They put it on the jar, and what they did. So it has Dismos' name on it too. Dismos. Then you can't see it here, and then Weedwoods there. They went to a private taste test. Okay, and they handed out Dis That Shit. There was like a 65-year-old white lady in the back that stood up and said, "Dis That Shit." And when she did that, the owners of Weedwood said, "Oh, we're on to something. This is it." So they called me and they said, "How about not just for his birthday? Let's roll this out to market." And I said, "Let's do it."
Let's go.
I just want people to know it's $35,000 to get it legally tested and to be put out there. So for this company to invest this not only once, but twice into my brand, thank you, Weedwoods.
Thank you, Weedwoods.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. So that's what happened. We rolled it out, and it just gets better and better. We win Farmers Cup. We enter it in Farmers Cup. We get first place. That's the most prestigious award you can win in cannabis. And Dismos Dis That Shit won. So as a thank you to Fitted Santana for coming up with the name, Weedwoods flies them out to Kushstock. They fly out Dismos. They fly out Miss Toy. Everyone that was involved, they perform at Kushstock. So it's like every part of this puzzle came together. We did the same thing with Miss Toy. So it's like this network, this family, this team that I've been building continues to grow, but it's a full circle where we take care of each other. If Dismos is live talking about me, I know he'll talk the same way about me as I do about him, whether he's here watching or if he's not.
Exactly. And that's the thing about you, how you support so many people. See, it goes all the way back. It goes all the way back when you was a explorer, a firefighter. Yep. It was like you was this person that just wanted to help. You wanted to help, and it all comes back to what we're doing right now. You've been helping me since day one, and without even lifting a finger, but you've been helping me. Right. And I told you that. But it's like now you got this single out. So now people, for y'all that don't know, is literally on 2111 radios, actually number 18 on the top 20 list. This month, it actually made it. It wasn't supposed to make it that fast, by the way.
Right. No, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
A lot of the songs that get entered on 2111 radio, what happens? It takes time for people to really start voting. And when they heard it, what did it? I think it was the video, and I have it.
Yeah. Oh, do you? All right.
I have the video. I definitely have this video. It's one of the first of all, who created this video?
Okay, so this is the other thing, how we have the most incredible team. I would say anything that you want done, I promise you, I have someone in my network that can do it. You need distribution for cannabis, white labeling, a grower, all the way to music, from producers, A&R, executives, distribute anything you need, all the way to media. So Dismos has a relative that has a media company. So he timed this all out, invites them. Me and Dismos in one day, one shot. He brings me to a very bad neighborhood. And we had a blast, but I couldn't have went there without Dismos. But we got this footage. We went to the Friday house. We just went down there, filmed it all. He just did that out of the love. Filmed me. We did one take in this cool ass neighborhood, bounced. Dismos spent the next few days editing himself out of his own creativity, out of just raw clips. So that is all Dismos and Cal from Marathon Media.
Wow. So let me explain what I have too. So you have this cartoon. You have a cartoon.
Yeah. Oh, yes. That's the other one. Yep.
Let me tell y'all, this cartoon is incredible. Who did that?
Okay. So
it is so dope.
That is from the gifting company. That is, again, me and him co-manage several artists. I managed some artists. He managed some. And we just teamed up. And so we both manage several of the same artists in different avenues and different forms. Okay. And he does his own thing back east. I do my own thing, but we're still a conglomerate. So one day he hit me. He knows how busy I am, that I have a normal 9 to 5, and then I'm doing this shit. There's no free time.
Exactly.
So, excuse me. He just said, man, I love your single. I'm going to what if I do an animation to it? And I've always wanted that. I personally think there's certain interactions that me, Dismos, and Roach have that if you just heard the audio and somebody, a good animator, could animate what we're talking about, that'd be a hit cartoon, man. There's hilarious shit that happens.
And you know, so funny, the laugh that you gives off.
Right.
So
yes, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And let me tell you something. Ain't nobody up there that's not high. Y'all be toasted. But the funny part is when Dismos get on somebody's music.
Oh,
because
so funny.
But I love the way he tells you, listen, go back. Yeah, tell you straight up, no, this is not it. Y'all know this ain't it. He'd be like, nah, I can do better than that. What you
right?
And I'm sitting there going, Dismos, he tells it how it is, and I love that
does.
about him. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get into this animated version.
Okay,
Smoke With Me. Featuring is Lady Toy featuring my man Kingtech. Let's listen to the lyrics because he still got it. Just check him out.
The wind, smoke with me, smoke with me, smoke with me. Me and Tech gon' give you a lesson. Man, I had a fire when you hit up the session. Smoke with me, smoke with me. Me and Tech gon' give you a lesson. Better have a fire when you hit up the session.
I'm the plug that you come to. Mic check 1, 2. This that shit like from flips of kung fu. Dumb fool, you can't just hit undo. Hit the whole weed wood, now you left subdued. This that shit, this no joke. This that holy shit, cause this don't float. It's that Cali gas, Miss Toy with smoke. It's that Cali homegrown like this the most. Tech and Miss Toy can direct and destroy all these faking decoys. I'm a Lil E noise. It's a baby B-boy, look up to Miss Toy. Now we reppin' these joints, I'm feeling D-boy. You fuckers don't medicate, you fuckers a featherweight. I'm pumping on every day, considered a weapons grade. Now we would admit that we were the shit from C to the snitch. Now we beat the shit, let's go.
Awesome.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Salute for you for all those years to still kill it like that. Come on. I put that song
Appreciate
on. And
that, man.
what people don't understand, 12 o'clock came when this song came out. 12:01, it was playing on 2111 radio. I was not
Thank
playing.
you, brother. Thank you, man.
And it's been playing nonstop for the last month. And it's been doing great for you to be on the top 20 at that short period of time. Usually take 2 months.
And that is awesome. Thank you so much. And honestly, what was a shock, I have my own insecurities, to be honest, man. I'm a perfectionist who, at a fault though, I'll keep trying to, I doubt it and doubt it. It's not good enough until a point I don't ever put it out. But what's cool is after we released it, 2 days later, Miss Toy called me and she goes, Tech, I'm freaking out. I'm like, why? She said, our song's already charting. You're second out of every song she's ever released. Me and her song has already reached second position of the most streams. So I was blown away. I love that support. That is, man, that is building a confidence in myself that is much needed, I'd say.
Let me tell you, and I told her when I had her on the show, we had a pre-show with her playing some of the songs from that, and I told her, I said, Kingtech did his thing. You really did. Salute.
Thank
after
you, brother.
all these years, it finally came to tuition, man. You nailed that. You nailed that. The flow is just perfect for that beat. I'm sitting there going, yo. So now I do have something. I have one more picture.
Okay.
All right. I have one more picture. And just talk about her.
My babes.
So now, for those who don't know, this is Ashley. If y'all don't know who Ashley is, again, I don't know what rock y'all under, because she's one of the most supportive people I know. She calls me Pop. I done built a relationship with this young lady, and she's in the building. I know she's sitting there laughing right now.
Yeah.
And it's to a point where this is Kingtech's woman.
Oh yeah.
Like,
This
is woman. This is woman. So what it means to you to meet someone like
Oh man, she is different than any human being I've ever met, man. I've never felt this way, never felt so supported, confident in every form of our relationship, in her, to be proud of somebody, to be proud to link to somebody. She's absolutely gorgeous, brilliant. She's an incredible music producer. And what was great is, we got to build a friendship first, where I didn't come at her like 99% of the other males, Of course I thought she was beautiful, but she was there and we were discussing music. I'm not going to turn that into anything else. So, just musically, I was impressed that she represented a female community of producers that it's very rare in that industry. For every 99 male producers, there's one female producer. Not only that, this one female producer was better than 99% of the male producers that sent me shit. I have 898 pages of emails, of artists that or producers that sent me my own personal preference. She can take a melody without any drum beat and give you a vibe, feel, and tempo throughout it, carrying with one element. There's a song, she has a flute song. And I'm not even kidding. Just the way she flips this flute, I don't need anything else. I don't need the drums. It's so on point. So anyways, just like the person I am originally, I wanted to give her every opportunity that I could, because she's very talented.
Yes, she is.
I'm working with super producer Rhythm D. Rhythm D is Eazy-E's personal producer. He's the one, Real Compton City G's. He's the one that made that diss track to Dr. Dre, from Eazy-E to Dr. Dre. Paperboy. You can do the Diddy if you want to. That is fucking Rhythm D. Now that that's a friend of mine and we make music, I thought, what a perfect matchup. Rhythm D is the most down-to-earth, talented dude I know. And I could say, Rhythm D, would you mind working with it? She's a female producer, up and comer. She's so talented. Could you bounce some ideas? He's game for it. So I set that up. So our original was just talking about that. It was just about music, and we'd have little here and there discussions outside of music about general life, but it wasn't about that, And then we just formed a genuine friendship that, to be honest, one day, I'll just be all the way real. I would have never ever hit on her or any other girl. I don't do that. It's a confidence thing. Every pickup line sounds cheesy as hell to me. I don't do that. I need to have the most clues. So anyways, thank God one day she just messaged me and said, I think we should get to know each other. Would you want to get to know each other? Like Jinyung and Ashley, not Kingtech and Agent.
Exactly.
And I said, that would be great.
Hell yeah.
So then it was just that, getting to know each other. And when I guess my experience, most times when you always put your best foot forward, right? You're like, a lot of people just flat out lie. They'll go rent a fucking Corvette and rent a condo just to take a girl out one night. It's all full of shit.
Exactly.
what's different about her was it wasn't either of our best foot forward. We already got to discuss our worst. This is my bad habit. I fucking snore. I don't know what they were, but I'm just saying a bunch of shit. And we accepted that. We already like that. And then it just built from there to where I can't even tell you, man. I would never go on a live. I wouldn't shout out or express my feelings for somebody ever. Never. I would never.
Now.
I do now, and so frequently it just spills out of my face. I don't even mean to. I just say it. So, I can't express my love for her. She is an incredible human. Oh my God, she is amazing, and I thank God that she wanted to get to know me.
Wow. You know what? That deserves a round of applause. This sounds like a damn love story. Hold on for a second.
It is.
So as we close it, we done came to this point where we had some highs, you had some lows, and we went back to highs. You had us up on a roller coaster. Now, if anybody don't know you by now, they don't need to know you, brother.
Right.
Because you told a lot tonight, and you got a lot off your chest. You understand? And I'm happy that you trusted me at 2111 Radio to actually bring this out the way you really wanted it to be brought out, because it's something that had to been trying, and something in your head like, damn, I need to tell my story. And this story it sounds like a damn movie.
Right.
It really does sound like a movie, because you went from being so younger to being in a tragic accident to getting a record deal to being in this fire and losing all your friends, and then coming back after all of that.
Yeah.
After all of that, you met the love of your life.
Oh yeah.
And you got a hit single on your hands, and you wanted to
absolutely. I mean, things could not be better, man. I'm on your show. I've met a network of the most incredible people. Genuine. You know, it's crazy. Like, it's on the internet, but I don't look at it like that, because you really get to, it is that, but you get to form genuine connections outside of this. And I've met so many that it's blossomed into something so great that I could have never expected that. I could have never expected. I am definitely the happiest I could possibly be. I'm going I've always wanted to go to New York, and in 3 days, I'm going to go to New York with the love of my life.
What?
Like, that's in 3 days. And I get to go meet half of the people that I've had a network with in person now. You know, I've had a childhood dream to meet Pete Rock. Not only did I get him on my show, when I go to New York, we're going to link up. Chip Fu from the Fushnikins, we're going to link up. There's so many I can name, but it's going to be incredible. So everything happens for a reason. And I'm at the peak of my happiness right now.
The hell you is. Oh my goodness. And the 13th influencer. The 13th. What?
I'm going to send you that list. I was so shocked. It's 13 in the United States.
Yo, salute, brother. Salute.
Thank you, brother.
Like I said, you shining right now, right? God has definitely put his hands on you.
Yeah.
And really, you know, he took you under his wing, because this is something that, like I said, it's only in books.
Right.
The story that you told tonight was only in movies and films and fantasy. You actually lived it, and look at you now. Like I said, we went through a lot tonight, a lot of emotions. A lot of people in this audience felt everything you said. And now we at a point at the end of the show where you're at the peak of your life, and you're the happiest man on the planet.
Oh yeah. Oh,
you understand? So salute to you, salute to your journey, and it's gonna continue, because me and you definitely gotta meet.
Oh yeah,
we definitely gotta meet.
We will, for sure.
That's the next step. And I already talked to Ashley.
Yes,
I wanted to have you and her come out.
She told me we had the discussion. We're all on board. We're on board.
And come out and we just do something really nice, and do the matter of fact. I want to invite you back to the show live with me, right next to me. And we're gonna do the show.
Let's do it.
You're definitely a positive brother, man. You really are. I've never met nobody like you. And I think they kind of broke the mold, bro. I'm not gonna meet nobody like Jinyung.
Appreciate
It's not
that.
going to happen. It's not. But you want to give me shout outs because you have a lot of people in here. Like,
Oh man. Well,
what they don't see, what they don't
yeah.
see, they only see a couple of things up in here, like on Facebook or whatever. But there's 165 people in here at one point.
All right.
Okay, so you definitely had some people up in here shouting you out, man. So
that
yeah,
is great.
Anything?
Yeah, really, I just my whole entire team, definitely my lady Ashley, she is incredible. She's the executive producer on my newest project called The King's Odds. I just want to say it's something that's never been done before. It's one of a kind. I really like this idea because it is a perfect reflection of who I am. I do like to help and dot connector. The King's Odds, what this is I take all the producers, whoever wants to be involved. So I'm allowing a 6-month producer work with a 35-year vet producer. Mm-hmm. Their names are in the hat, so they're at equal level. One's not above the other. Everyone's equal. Randomly, week 1, I pull their name out of the hat. Producer 1, you get to lay one element only and 8 bars. You could lay the drums or the bass line or the melody, whatever, but only one element. When you're done, let me know. I pull producer 2 out. Producer 2 gets to lay one element. We do that until we have 5 elements or 5 producers for this complete song. Then my executive producer, Ashley, will send that to our arranger, Finesse Banks, who's incredible. She will arrange it, teaming up with executive producer Ashley. When that is to the point they feel fit, then I have an artist hat. Now, I've interviewed over 365 legends on my show. Every time I interview somebody, the reason I'm interviewing these legends is they were a hero to me. So I shoot my shot. What would it take for you to do a song with me? And 90% of them say, just say the word. So I'm saying the word. I put their name in the hat. So just little examples like Capadonna, Inspect the Deck, Fredro Starr, Mad Lion, Rufus Black, Brother J, Sir Jinx, J.O. Felony. Those are some of the names that are in that hat, as well as up and comers. You pull feature number 1 out of the hat. Now, this is what's also unique about this. Whatever feature I pull out, they get an instrumental, a finished instrumental, and now creativity is up to you. You get to lay the hook or a verse. Mm-hmm. If you lay the hook, you're almost coming up with the whole concept of the song. What's the song about? Okay, so that's what we're doing. And then the song now is put on me. Now the song's done. I have the hook. I have everything. What? And now I have to fit myself into that. And now what I like is this is putting positive pressure to each other. And we need that. I know that I need that because the Miss Toy song probably still would be on this notepad here instead of a single out. She applied pressure. She's like, your deadline, it's Friday. And I'm like, I know, my bad. I'm trying to. So this opened me up to force myself into something, force the creativity amongst each other. But there's a entrepreneurial business thought I have as well. Mm-hmm. Everybody's invested in this. So that means 5 producers. I have an executive producer, a arranger. Then I have 1 or 2 features. That's at least 7 to 8 individuals per track that have invested interest that they will promote this song like it's their own song because it is their song. They're part of it. Exactly. Not only that, everyone involved gives me their ASCAP and BMI, and we split everything equally. I don't give a shit about the money. We all made this together. Exactly. So that's where we're at. We're on song number 2. We've done song 1. I personally believe this is forcing situations. I have already had a trap producer lay an element, and now a guy that does strictly boom bap had to add to that. And then a guy that was originally going to arrange it would never arrange music like this, but forced into it. There's going to be a lot of combos that normally would not happen. And I'm opening the door for up-and-comers. When's the last time you were offered to do a song with Fredro Starr from Onyx? Ooh, when's the last time you got to be a feature on a song with Capadonna? You know what I mean? So it is a win for everybody involved. And I love the idea. That's what we got going on. So shout out every one of those producers. Definitely Finesse Banks and Ashley. Those 2 working hard as hell. Keep me organized. They're making sure each step of the way is done properly. Shout out my co-host, Dismos, Roach Killer. We're on Kingtechtv or The King's Table, both of those. I post them to both. But every Wednesday and Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, and that's where we're at. We're always doing that. We're always at events, pushing products, got tons of sponsors, and we just continue to grow and elevate.
Let me give you a round of applause. Listen, I can't even end this. I have to end this show just like that. That was on some real positive. That's a positive. It can't get no positive than that. You understand? And I truly appreciate you coming to our show for the third time. And it will be a fourth. It will be a fourth. And you can catch his shows, like he said. It's what, Tuesdays?
Wednesday and Thursday, 7 Pacific Standard Time on Instagram.
Check him out, y'all. I'm telling you, it's hilarious. His co-host is hilarious. It's just a really dope show. And he always got somebody real dope on his show. I'm not even gonna lie. And with that, I'm gonna talk to Kingtech behind the scenes. With everybody else, y'all ain't gotta go home, but y'all gotta get out of here. So we're gonna get y'all out of here. Kingtech, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you give me an infomercial for 2111 Radio?
Yeah. Okay. An infomercial. Damn, I would have had to. I really would want to think it up too.
So I tell you, So I tell you what we're gonna do. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. If you could give me the infomercial, send it to my email. I will blast that shit on every damn social media platform.
Yes, let me brainstorm of how I'm going to approach it, and I will give you a good ass infomercial.
Yes, and you know what? Just for that, if you do that, I will actually put it on the radio station as well.
Done. It's done.
All right.
Yep.
For sure. So listen, thanks guys. Thanks for coming by. Like I said, everybody show some love up in here. Make sure you guys subscribe to 2111 Radio YouTube if you haven't already. But other than that, y'all have a good night, and we out.
Thank you guys.